we're obviously in a day and age where people kind of follow with fear when it comes to getting to know people that they don't know. So what was your inspiration behind this series to change that dynamic?
I think, first of all, I completely agree with you. And I think that I went through some of that at the beginning too. In the age we're in right now, it's really scary to ask questions sometimes, or to feel like, you don't want to say the wrong thing, or you don't want to ask the wrong thing or offend somebody, especially when you're putting it out into the world and having thousands of people watch it, that could be offended or whatever. And so that was something that I think scared me at the beginning, but I'm always someone that feels like if something scares me, there's a reason for it. And there's a reason that that's the reason why I should do it. So I don't know. I've always been a really curious person, and I've always wanted to know about people in my community and the stories they've gone through to live in their authentic truth. And, I feel like, I don't know, I grew up in Los Angeles. I mean, I grew up in California, and I've lived in Los Angeles and New York and very liberal places. And I was just hungry to learn more about my community. So I just kind of trusted the fear and just went with it.
And there's so many stories that you could have covered. I mean, so many. So how did you go about the process to decide who to pick, who to start with?
I mean, at the beginning, it was really just who I could get. It was just, especially before the series was out and I had a proof of concept to show people, it was really just who would trust me enough to share their story. And, once I think I showed, the audience and people watching the show that I was doing these stories from my heart and with care and sensitivity, I feel like it opened a lot more doors and people were really trusting me with their stories. And so it's been a bit easier finding stories now because people want to be involved and people want to share their story on my platform because they know that I'm going to do them justice, and I'm going to paint them in an accurate way that's going to make the audience really care about them. So, it's been easier, but at the beginning it was definitely a struggle to find the stories, but I always just trust my gut. If someone's life story interests me, or if their job interests me, or something about, their story interests me, then I just trust that the audience would find that interesting as well.
So is there a story that you did for this first season of the series that really took a hold of you, that you kind of found yourself kind of either choking up or resonating with more than the others?
It's hard to pinpoint one story because every story resonates with me in a different way. Some
Mhm.
are very inspiring, some are, harder to deal with, some are very emotional. It all varies, but whenever I get asked that question, I always immediately think of one of my guests. Her name is Mousy, and she's a trans woman that lived in Los Angeles, and she was a street hustler who has spent much of her life in and out of jail. And on paper, she's lived a very tough life. She survived. She's the longest surviving member of her family. Her sister and her parents had passed, and she was just kind of doing her own thing, trying to make it work. And she invited me into her home when my series was still very new, and she shared her story with me, and it just reached so many people. And the way that she deals with life, and she's a really firm believer and sticking up for other people in our community. So, she's ready to throw down if someone picks on someone in our community. She will be the first one to stick up for them, and especially because she spent so much of her life in jail. She's really had to fight for people because people in our community can get targeted in jail for
Mhm.
physical and sexual abuse and stuff. And so having her, stick up for them, it resonated with me. But then also seeing the audience respond and seeing so many comments from people saying, "Oh my gosh, I was with Mousy in jail in 2000, and she made me feel so safe," or "I saw Mousy in the streets when I was going through it, and she picked me up and told me I'm going to be okay." And I realized the power that she had in that life. And she had unfortunately passed maybe about a year and a half ago, but I still feel her with me as my show continues because we did 3 episodes together and she always wanted to do more with me. And I just feel her as I go. With every connection I make, I feel like Mousy's there cheering me on and getting these connections for me.
So what is the goal? What do you want the overall goal to be with this series?
I think I went into the show thinking, I want the series to, obviously educate me and educate my audience. And then, but also, of course, the goal would be to get it picked up onto a streamer or a bigger platform, and have more of a budget because right now it's just me filming, it's just me editing, it's just me finding the stories. It's really me doing everything, which I love because
Oh,
it
I
gives
know
me so
that
much.
feeling.
Yes, yes. It gives me so much creative control, but it also is just so much work, and it's hard to
Mhm.
grow the show because I only have so much bandwidth. And so I think that would be the goal, would just be getting getting it on a bigger platform where there's more of a budget and more people involved. But right now, I'm really just riding this wave, and every day the show reaches new people, and every day I get messages from people saying, how much certain episodes resonate with them and has made them feel seen and stuff. So I'm really trying to focus on that and just every day just pushing forward and keeping the show moving.
Well, I appreciate what it is that you're doing and creating more of a dialogue amongst the community and also people that don't know a person who may be trans, gay, lesbian. They're getting an education to know
Yeah.
that it could be the person you work with, it could be a teacher that they used to teach you, they exist and all you got to do is get to know them.
Thank you so much for saying that. I think that's really the goal. I always think about those people maybe in smaller towns in the Midwest or something that maybe don't have a trans woman in their life or a trans person in their life. And they are just reading the news. And especially right now, what's going on, in the trans community, they can be so vilified and painted in a way that is not accurate. And so I really hope that my videos that can reach 200,000, 300,000 people. And a lot of those people are probably those people that are in the Midwest that don't have anybody in their life that they know, and they can meet the people in the way that I see them, which are beautiful, strong, and resilient people. And that's what I want the takeaway to be.
So until you get that big streaming platform, where can people learn more about the series or even watch a few episodes?
It's on YouTube. It's called Our Queer Life, or you could just type in my name, Matt Cullen, MattCullen, or just follow me on Instagram at Matt Cullen too. And I post little clips on Instagram too. So if you just want to see a little 1 minute clip before you dedicate yourself to an episode, you can just head to my Instagram and check that out and kind of see what it's about there too.
Well, we definitely want to encourage those to check out the full episode and really educate themselves. So Matt, thank you again for joining me this morning and talking more about the show. And congratulations on, taking this plunge to create your own series. And I really hope that somebody really looks at the importance of having this on a streaming platform and you get that.
Thank you so much. It means so much to me. Thank you.